There are a lot of watches in the price range of $1,000 to $2,000, or what I call the entry-level luxury band. One can make an argument for several watches to be the best at this level. However, undoubtedly all such lists will include the Sinn 104 Pilot watch. I purchased my 104 back in March of 2018. Join me on this episode of Adventures with Time as I consider this watch after 2.5 years in my collection, giving you both the good and the bad based on my experience. It was March of 2018, after being a watch collector for just 5 months, that I decided to buy a Flieger watch. Rather than going for a classic Flieger of the World War II styling, I decided to buy the Sinn 104. Still considered a pilot's watch due to its 60-minute countdown bezel, the Sinn 104 has a much more versatile styling. So let's take a relook at this watch to see how I feel about it after 2.5 years in action. First, a quick overview of the specifications. Dimensions for this watch are 41 millimeters wide, 11.5 millimeters thick, a lug-to-lug of 46 millimeters, and it uses a 20 millimeter lug width. The stainless steel case and the bracelet come in at 165 grams, and with the screw-down crown affords a 220 meter water resistance. This watch includes sapphire crystals on both the front and on the displayed case back, and includes a 60-minute countdown bezel with day and date complication. The watch is powered by the Versatility 220-1 movement, which runs at 28,800 beats per hour, has hand winding and hacking. I selected the black dial without the Arabic hour numerals and on this H-link bracelet. Back in 2018, it was priced at $1,520. And looking at the Watch Buyers website today, I see that they are about to have a price increase on these Sinn watches. But that's just the specs. How is this watch on the wrist? One of the concerns I hear people have about this watch is the use of the Versatility 200-1 movement. In fact, about a year ago, I made a video prompted by a viewer question comparing the Sinn 104 with its 200-1 and the Stowa Classic 40 Flieger, which uses the ETA 2824-2. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below for you to reference. But I found no difference in accuracy and consistency between these two watches. Both provided an average accuracy of plus 3 seconds per day. Pretty good. I'm very pleased with the Versatility 200-1 movement. The things that I enjoy most about this watch is its style and versatility. On the wrist, the 104 feels very comfortable. I think it wears a bit smaller than the 41 millimeter diameter might suggest. This is partly due to the short, almost stubby lugs, resulting in a relatively short lug-to-lug of 46 millimeters. Even though the end links do not have full articulation, this does not cause me any problem with fit or comfort, as my wrist is wider than the watch case. Those with much smaller wrists shouldn't have any problem either, given the end link does flex down to 90 degrees. I also find the bracelet very comfortable. The milled fold-over clasp is very smooth and a perfect length so that it lays on my wrist without any points of irritation. As I mentioned, I opted for the black dial without the Arabic hour indices and the H-link bracelet, but there are other options I could have selected. The white dial does have a beautiful appearance, but I still think that the black dial does offer greater versatility, as does the H-link bracelet. Additionally, I find that the plain rectangular hour indices provide a more elegant look to the watch. One thing I often worry about with a watch, especially one at this price level, is the quality of the finish. Over the past 2 years, I've had lots of opportunity to give close inspection of this watch, and I can say that I am very impressed. Everything from bezel alignment to dial printing to crown action is perfect. I'm continually amazed at how well the white hands and printing on the dial works against that stark black background, and it makes for greater readability. Whether from afar or close, the dial is striking. Now, one would think that with those large polished surfaces, this watch would be a scratch magnet. But I must say that the finish has stood up very well. I feel that even if it does get a scratch, it won't be very noticeable. Of course, as with all my other bracelets, the clasp gets lots of contact with table surfaces, so it has lots of scratches. But that doesn't bother me. I actually like the look, especially on this watch, and the polished links don't look bad either. And that brings me to perhaps the only drawback I consider of this watch, and that is the highly polished surfaces. On one hand, I think those surfaces add a lot of style to the watch, but I'm afraid that over the years, with a lot of scratches, that might detract from the appeal of this watch. I guess I could always get them polished out, but we'll see. As I said, I'm torn on this aspect. All of this design helps with the broad versatility of this watch. I've worn it mostly at the office. It fits great in business casual attire. Whether I had my shirt sleeves down for a meeting or rolled up for some heavy-duty spreadsheet work on the computer. The simple black and white design, along with the stainless steel finish, makes the 104 well matched with a suit and tie. I also like wearing this watch in shorts and a t-shirt, now that I'm retired and am much more dressed down. I guess the only situation in which I haven't worn the 104 is at the pool or beach. Not that I couldn't, given its 200-meter water rating. I just haven't. But I must admit, it wouldn't be my choice for the beach, fearing I'd put some serious sand scratches on the watch. But that's just my quirks. In case you haven't sensed it yet, I'm very happy with my selection of the Sinn 104. It is a great all-around watch. I definitely feel that it is a strong contender for one of the best buys in the entry-level luxury space, if not the top. But I'm open to other thoughts. What do you think? What watch in the $1,000 to $2,000 price range do you feel matches the Sinn 104 for quality, style, and versatility? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. It helps me get my content greater visibility. Now here are two other videos you might like. One on a great affordable watch and one on a mid-tier luxury watch. I hope you enjoy them. And I'll see you in my next episode.